I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Juan. Okay, item 4, approval of agenda. I would like to amend that to under line H, letter B, North Dalton well final acceptance. So I need a motion for amendment and then the motion. Okay, motion to amendment. Okay. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, next. Approval of agenda amended.
Motion for the agenda amended.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Item 5, approval of November 20th, 2024 regular council meeting minutes. Debbie. Okay. We have a motion to amend. Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Aye.
Then approval of council minutes as amended.
Motion approved council minutes as amended.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Aye.
Thank you, Jason. Item 6, interested citizens, oral communications, requests and comments from the audience on unrelated agenda items. Brandon, you are first.
I just came here, it was a year ago that I came up here and I congratulated Dee Cragen on her service to this community. She was well respected by members outside of this community. She was a heck of a councilman. And I just wanted to comment to you, Councilmember Standen. I hope I'm saying your name right. You're doing pretty well.
Oh.
I appreciate your effort. You know, Deer Park is, we're going to be honest, it's kind of a good old boys club. It's kind of a little behind the times. I'm sure you've heard of Mr. Verzal and our issues. But I appreciate you. That being said, I want all the council members to know that this year in 2025, I have some knowledge that you're going to be under some scrutiny. You've got some big elections coming up. You're going to have a lot of journalists here in this room. I would get prepared, especially you, Mr. Verzal. And helping that out, there's a lot of miscommunication in this room. A lot of people coming here uninformed. So my idea for the council would be, I understand you have the Deer Park Gazette, they videotape these meetings and then they post them on social media about 2 weeks later. It's 2024. We got a lot of technology here. We want all, the world, the country kind of wants information. I'm encouraging you to set up your own streaming, recording here and have it uploaded that night. It's unfortunate that people come in here inflamed, not knowing what's going on, and then they get angry. And again, there's a lot of things going on in this good old boy community to be upset about. But we can fight that type of stuff if we have the information, if we communicate. Because I assure you, this spring, when you hear some of these stories that are coming out, Deer Park's going to have several black eyes. And you can't avoid it, but we can start improving it. I like the trees out there. They're well decorated. I'm just kind of disappointed we're not having any other decorations. We're not having a deer, not having the snow people. Look really good. And if you want to be, attract that tourism, you might want to invest in that type of stuff. I wish you happy holidays. And again, Councilmember Standen, I don't want anything from you. I'm not looking for a date, but I do want you to know sincerely. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good holidays.
Thank you. Peggy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not here to complain. I am here to hopefully say goodbye to 2024 and let's go into 2025 and really appreciate what we have around us. I want to say thank you for not putting the golden shovel back on the agenda. I don't think the timing was right, and I don't think that person, from what I heard over the phone, was really, wasn't very personable. But it's a great tool. This is a great tool for us to know what to ask questions and what we need. As Mr. Brandon's talking about, there's things we need to change that can make us go forward and inform people of how good we are and that information. So the miscommunication, people don't just come here and complain at you all the time because they hear speculation. They may have speculation or make, more rhetoric. And he who controls the information has power. And I believe that we need to put more out there in the positive of what is going on. Because you guys are doing great things. There was great things this year. The parking lanes, the trees, all that kind of stuff. People need to get involved. You want it? Make it happen. There's so much anxiety out there because we're not making it happen. We're sitting at home judging. So with that in mind, I want to throw this out here because this is what Brad and I have been working on, and this is what's going to happen in 2025. We, as you know, bought property out there in the light industrial 20 years ago. I've been working with the city because I always believed back then that what will give us our needs and our wants is industry. And not only that, but we don't need to drive to town every day for our jobs and risk our lives on that. And let's keep the money here. You see what comes back around. So I'm going to give you a quick up. It's not all formal, but this is the flyer for the Coil Innovation Center, the first phase, 10 acres, and it kind of describes all that. There'll be more upgrades, but let me tell you.
This is your development.
Yeah, this is Brad's and my development, the company that we created. Let me tell you, people, I am learning so many things. It's wonderful, but very stressful. And these guys develop property development. And it's just, sky's the limit. You go out there, blue sky. That airport is everything. On here also is an executive summary that talks about the branding of what this Coil Innovation Center and our little niche out there is going to be. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because there's a couple email or internet sites and on here.
Nicely done.
Thank you. There's more to go, but let me tell you, like I said, every time you make a phone call, you get a $1,500 bill. So investment in something like this is our life thing, everything. But we didn't spend it in the bar. So it's a great thing. I can drive by this property and see what's going to happen to our town, and we're going to build. Now on this,
So where'd you get the money for this?
honey, we don't have a fancy house. We're selling everything, but because we believe in it. So, and then I didn't think at this point in my life I'd be going and getting massive loans, but I'm going to do anything I can. So I want to tell you though, on this, the link that my broker, our broker we hired, has this link of demographics that is, that's not attached to our website, the city's website. And the other thing for economic development is that branding and that. That's all there is for economic development on the city's website. And if we want everything that we want, and we want other people to pay for it, this is what we're losing in retail leakage by going out of your park. These numbers were given, I only have 3 copies, but these numbers were sent out to council members earlier in the year, and I can resend them. I believe I've shared them with Jessica, but these are demographics that the retail recruitment company provided. Now they're a little bit aged, but they're talking since 2022, the retail leakage in the gaps, we're not talking duplication, is $111 million out of our community. And if you want to figure that out on the measly little bit of retail sales tax you get back, and property tax, think of those, what can happen, who's paying for it. So it's not hitting the resident. So you can have the quality of life, and you can have another grocery store, and you can drive down the road, and you can have your business, or your plumbing business, and innovation for our kids, and that kind of thing. So I want to say thank you for rethinking that, gentleman, and putting that to, because I think it just muddies the water. But I want you not to somebody needs to do something on this. We need to have some planning going forward on the economic development. Chamber's such a fluid thing, that's a hard thing to do. I have in this bucket since 2000, I've been doing this for 20 years for Deer Park. And this is just from my cupboard right there, I've got buckets. And this, I've got a 2009 economic strategic plan, a 2012 that somebody did. Penny Loomis has done how many grants? We need to pull a group together and just make a quick plan of where to go. And I want you to please review that information. Call me, ask me questions. I am a bucket of knowledge in some places and others. I know nothing, and I want to stay that way. So thank you guys for listening to me. Here's another one of the complete demographics. If you didn't get it, you can share that. So we're 90% done. We're going to wait until spring to pave and curb it. This pamphlet says, the flyer says it all. I'm hoping, I know it's going to be great. It's going to be great, guys.
It's going to be great.
Thank you, Peggy. Okay, next up, item 7, public hearing, letter A, 2025 year budget. If you have questions, please state your name and your address. Any questions by the council? Okay, we'll move on to new business. Letter H, Transportation Improvement Board and City of Deer Park Grant Agreement, 2025 chip and scrub seal in the amount of $1,249,585. Dan, you want to fill us in on that?
First, I want to make a disclaimer. Daniel worked on that agreement.
I was going to say, not Roger.
And he made it happen. And he had these gentlemen, because he was on autopilot.
Good work.
It did say Roger on that.
So yeah, that's just like it sounds. It's a board of 1.25 million. We have to participate 10%. So roughly $138,000 that the city will have to participate in funds for it. We will take that money out of our pavement preservation fund that we budget a little over per year. Usually that program we focus on roughly three roads, depending on the cost per year for a full grind and repave. This will be more of a chip seal, scrub seal, like overlay type of refield road. So we'll get a lot more surface area with this. Less bar.
Dan, have you already chosen what streets you're going to be working on?
We've got an idea
or what
of
area?
which streets, but not all of them. So the way that we applied it for it was we specified, I put together a map of all of the roads based off of TIB's rating. And then our goal is to get as many of those done as we can, but the best looking roads will probably get missed.
Quite a few in the downtown area or the older part of town.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's based off of every I don't recall how many years, but every 4 years they TIB rates the roads. So we have charts that show based off of their rating.
Any questions? Okay, get a motion.
I make a motion we approve the grant.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carried. Got you, Jason. Item B, North Dalton Well final acceptance. Dan.
This one, it's a long time coming. This project's been going on for quite some time. It's been almost done for a long time, with the exception of we're waiting on a generator plug, and that was finally installed, and the project's ready to be closed out. So added it last week, like this, trying to get it wrapped up.
Need someone to entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 10, ordinances. Letter A, ordinance 2024-1027, adopting annual city budget year ending 2025, and waive the three reading process.
I'll make a motion to adopt, but waive the process.
Okay.
I'll second it.
We have motion and second to waive the process. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then ordinance
Motion
approval.
to ordinance 2024-1027.
Okay.
Second it.
We have motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. Thank you, Jason. Ordinance 2024-1026, right-of-way use franchise agreement with Zippy Fiber LLC, doing business as Zippy Fiber, second reading and public input. Waive the third reading. Do we have any public input on that? Is it optic fiber or fiber optic? And
Mr. Mayor.
pass the third reading. Yes,
Mr. Mayor,
go ahead.
when I
Jason.
talked to our legal counsel, I think a couple of months back, they did mention something about potentially giving us some input or guidance on how we think through right-of-way use franchise agreements. We want to be sort of fair and equitable to all. Not so I don't have any amendment or anything, but just we might investigate a little bit more what their guidance might be going forward on this. I think I remember Councilwoman Diane mentioning some reservations last time on this. But so I think it would be good for us to get a legal perspective, going forward if other people want to start throwing their fiber or whatever into our right of ways.
Yeah, and Zipley's been bought by Bell Canada. I don't know if that makes
Okay.
any difference.
So Jason, to answer your question on that, before we can legally put a moratorium on it, we have to have an engineer check the right of ways for if we have too many or not, or how many we can have.
Oh, sure. And I'm not suggesting a moratorium, sir. I just wanted to throw that out. That's all.
So I need a motion for waive the third reading.
Waive the third reading.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then the ordinance.
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-1026.
Okay.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 11, consent agenda. Letter A, approval of voucher claim check numbers 42,520 through 42,542 in the amount of $218,722.78 for the second half of November 2024. Item B, approval of payroll check numbers 15,682 through 15,715, including PFML, LTC, 941 taxes and health benefits in the amount of $153,768.65 for the month of November 2024. And item C, Deer Park Airport lease agreement, Brian Dearden.
Do we
Need a motion?
make a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 12, council questions, comments, or reports. Mr. Ross, we'll start with you. Ross?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you heard me or not.
I got my hearing aids in today. I hope it's not too late to your concern, but I have something that's been weighing on me. And, I've been to hundreds and hundreds of meetings my entire life. School board meetings, council meetings, county commission meetings. And usually has a informant letter decided. But I'm very, very concerned about something, and I just want to share with everybody. And I think it concerns everybody here, including everybody sitting out here. Otto von Bismarck, the German leader, statesman, politician, once said, people should not watch laws or sausages being made. And having been a part of it, and then having done my research on it, I'm very, very concerned. First of all, I do want to commend the mayor and the council for how they handled themselves the other day, because unfortunately, political discourse in the United States has become not an interchange of ideas or a polite discourse. It's become yelling and screaming and calling names. I don't think that's going to change. And we had some people coming here the other day who simply wanted to be loud. Your point is acceptable, but the politeness and the ability to exchange ideas in a setting that is a full exchange is just ended. And I can remember as a person who taught history at high school, college for years, Ronald Reagan, one of the most conservative Americans as president, one of his best friends was Senator Reagan, who was a liberal Democrat from Massachusetts. And yet they like to have lunch together, they like to have breakfast together and stuff, because they realize that to be a disagreement is not to hate, it's not to be evil, it's not to have an ulterior agenda, it's basically we have different ideas about the same vision that we have. And it was disappointing to me, but it's something that, a person to cry three people of this board as, I'll use this quote, this stuff, unelected deplorables. And, I looked upon that and I thought it was rather interesting. Being called deplorable is not new to American politics. In fact, in 2016, a group of Americans kind of embraced it as a badge of honor. And so being an unelected deplorable, I embraced it as a badge of honor. Also, the fact that it's very, very important that my background, I was a coach for 40 years. I've been called a lot worse than that. And the third thing is, when you terminally have disease, I do, the only deplorable I worry about being called is, I hope my wife doesn't call me that. I hope my family doesn't call me that. And I hope when I finally get upstairs, the big guy lets me in, because he doesn't think I'm deplorable. But I'm very, very concerned because I see something happening, and I want to make sure that we as a council, and I don't know what my situation is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to get. So I have no agenda. But I do have something on my mind, and that is the fact that a governing body, a decision-making body, can do one of two things. They can have a staff, or they can have a vision, and they have an idea of what they want to do. And people are going to come in and yell and scream at the top of their lungs because they don't have the same sort of vision. Right? They're what I call, I've always referred to as meat people. One of the people stood up the other day and said, why the hell are we putting money into an airport? I don't use the airport. Why should we put money in an airport? And, that's the kind of thinking process that we have to be very, very aware of. That's going to be part of American politics nowadays. How does it affect me? Right? And I find it interesting. For instance, with the school bond issue, I don't care how you vote the school bond issue. You give me 1,000 reasons, I'll respect them all as to why you didn't vote. You have a right to do that. That's what this country is about. But when you're a decision making, and I've had several people say to me, I don't have a kid in school, so I'm not voting for it. That's wrong, and that's sad. And when a person looks and goes, I don't use the airport, why should we have it? Well, ask a question about it. Do a little research on it. We went out to the airport, and we asked questions about it. We have a 6,000-foot runway. We have a runway that is accessible because the people out there are working very hard to keep it that way, that runway is accessible 24/7, 12 months of the year. And they have a work crew out there that is largely part-time that's out there to make sure it works. And there were an average of 200 landings and takeoffs a day during the summer. This means it's being used. But more than that, it has become a depository for people in this area because it's an airport that, one, is cheap. The gas and the jet fuel is cheaper than any place else around here. And two, it has room to expand. So what does it mean? It means that it is a place where this town may grow. And it was interesting to see that today because if you don't know that, you don't go out, you don't ask questions, you just want to yell and scream about it, you don't learn anything. And what we learned out there is not only has it got room to grow, but the other airports around here, regional airports, are basically full. Ours is not. And so I look at it and I say, you know, we have to look at putting money into that because it's going to pay us back. I don't use the airport. It does nothing for me, but not me, we. And I think as a board, as a council, we have to maintain we. All right, what does it do for us as a community? What does the school do for us? What does the roads do for us? The chip in the scale and stuff like that. You have to do that sort of stuff. And to do that, you have to do what businessmen understand, and businesswomen understand. You got to spend money to make money. And we have to make decisions about that and not allow ourselves to be influenced by somebody from there who wants to yell. We have to be transparent. We have to be very, very open about what it is that we stand for. But we also have to be able to say to people, you know what? We've looked at the books, we've looked at this stuff, and this is where the decision's got to be made. I look at, there's a town of Libby, Montana, so you know where Libby's at. And Libby, Montana up there, for the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know who's in charge. I don't know who made this decision, but they decided that water was going to be a problem. They're having infrastructure problems because they have an influx of people coming in. So what did they do? They ignored it. Did nothing about it. And water usage got worse and worse and worse, and now they're at a point where they're out of water. So what have they done? They have exponentially increased the cost of people who are using it in the city. And it's massive. You've got businesses threatening to shut down. You've got people who are in very, very tough situations financially. They're going, how the hell do I pay for my water? Right? That is absolute negligence in a body that has to make decisions about what's going on around it. And I'm concerned about that because we don't want to spend money and things, and I don't want to spend money. But you have to understand, I look at our budget, and it concerns me that we have $12 million coming into this year. And if we spend the money that we're looking at spending, we're going to be at $8 million next year. Now, that's how I read it. I taught history and everything from driver's education to weightlifting, but I sure as hell can count. And when I look at that, it scares the hell out of me. People go, hey, we got $2 million in reserve. $2 million for anybody in this room is a tremendous amount of money. It's great income. $2 million to 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people, whatever's going to happen, is nothing. 100,000, what is it? $1 million of chip seal. So we can't look at that and go, you know, well, we got $2,000. We don't know how many people are going to be here. We don't know what this town's going to turn out to be. I look upon this town as being pregnant. And when you have pregnancy, guys, everybody knows it's that pregnancy. It changes the dynamics of your family. It changes the income. It changes the needs. It puts stress on it. And you either prepare for it or you're devastated by it because you're not ready for it. And I'm concerned because when we say we don't want to look at raising taxes, $6,000 we're talking about the other day. I don't know if it's right or wrong not to pass that, but I know this. I know that the community wants to have nice things cost money. And I look around this, I look at the airport, I look at the downtown area, which is starting to develop an identity. It's becoming a place to go. My wife was so impressed up there on Saturday. She goes, man, there were people up there shopping. And we need to come to, we need the Chewelah people and Loon Lake people to come stop here. I'm not going to town. And we need to have people who use the airport to put their businesses here and not have to drive that 15, 16 miles on that highway every night. And so we need to look at that in the future. And we need to look at that as that's where we're going.
Okay.
And I challenge the board here because I don't even know if I'm going to run again. I don't know if I'll be alive again in 6 months. But the thing is that we have to look at the long-term thing. We have to look at what we're going to be doing for this community for people that we are never going to meet and may not have even been born yet. Where are we going? Because we are going to grow, and we don't know, as a pregnant, we've had a couple of kids already, we're up to 5,000, going on to 6,000 people. We might have triplets next year. All right? How the hell are we going to take care of that? We have to start looking at funding. And when I see $4 million disappear, 1/3 of our value, I'm concerned.
Thank you.
I am tremendously concerned. Because I look at that and go, you take $4 million next year, you take $4 million afterwards in 2027, no, they might. So we need to start, one, being transparent, and I challenge us to do that, but number two, we need to be open and say to people, this is where we're at, how are we going to get there? You guys got to help us make this decision. Because that's where we're going, and it just bothers me, because I used to say to my players, every player that played ball for me for 40 years, I ask you to do one thing. I don't care if you win, I don't care if you lose. Leave the program better than it was when you got there. You walk out of the last game we won, whether we win or lose, state championship, whatever, leave it better than it was when you got there. And I'm challenging us and everybody sitting here today in the community. We have to leave this place better than it was when we got here. For people that are not even alive yet, that are going to be coming in, will never know our names, will never know a damn thing about us, except for the legacy we leave. And when I look at these numbers, I'll pass the budget. Because we talked about stuff, and that's what we need to do right now. We sure as hell better start thinking about what we're going to do in 25, 26, 27, and realize that our finances are not taken care of. We're going to find ourselves in a Libya, Montana situation, or other places like this, where we're standing here and going, you know what, we dropped the ball. I don't want to drop the damn ball. I don't want us to be influenced by somebody comes in and yells as loud as they can. All right? I want us to be transparent, visible, open, but I also want us to understand that that's what the numbers say to me. And that number scares the hell out of me. I'm sorry I went on too long.
She's on the Economic Development Board.
You should be, Russ.
That's how you're gonna make
Thank you.
numbers.
Thank you, Russ. That's very good. Fred?
After that determination, I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
So I took your time, Fred. I'm sorry.
Diane?
Ellen?
I'm sorry, Ellen. I was looking at her.
No, I'm,
That's Fred, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
Fred. I got confused.
No.
Billy?
Billy's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, to talk about Mr. Warren's point, the snowman and the deer will make an appearance out there. They're sitting in storage. They'll be out there by the 14th. So there's more decorations to be put out there. I do want to commend Councilmember Standen. I'm also not going to ask you on a date. But thank you for your for working out on the downtown revitalization team, on your hard work on that. And thanks for Peggy Coyle for passing the buck, and you've done a great job. And I know you weren't able to go with us because we on this last week or 2 weeks ago, but Mayor Berzal, a couple members of our chamber, and myself, we all went down. We all went up to Chewelah, had lunch, talked to their mayor, their chamber, talked about their downtown revitalization efforts. Chewelah is beautiful. We're trying to learn from them and partner with them on the ways that we could influence our downtown area. And as you mentioned, downtown's looking great right now. It's Small Business Saturday was nuts, seeing all the people out there, and it was really humbling to see that people spending money downtown. So, yeah. So
it's just looking better. I mean, it really is. When you drive down the street now.
It's your turn.
I'm sorry.
It's your turn.
Hey, I just, go
When you have a moment.
When you have a moment.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be quiet.
No, you don't have to be quiet. Say what's on your mind.
I think he's right. We need to do more planning and follow through with that planning. When I first started coming to council meetings, I went back and looked at, what they had for parks and recreations. And they had, the splash pad and all this stuff and where they were going to put it. But by the time we got ready to do all that, the city had changed so much that it was just, it was like, it wasn't feasible anymore. So I would really like, before we go off and do any more parks and rec things, have Larry
Right. I was just going to say
do
that.
his thing and see what he can come up with for us.
And some grants.
We need to kind of drop that issue.
He will be here in January.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and I think the downtown revitalization,
It's important.
that's important, and we need to start planning. And, people do complain about, and I thought it was amazing. People complained about the pickleball But somebody came to a city council meeting and asked for something, and the city council tried to respond to that. If there are people out there that want something, they need to come and ask for it, rather than just complain that we're out there building pickleball courts for whoever.
For our age.
Yeah, for
our age.
folks, you know? So, yeah, come to the city council meetings.
What's your opinion? Chase?
Yeah.
Nothing for me.
Okay.
That's Jason.
Jason?
No, sir, not tonight.
Okay, thank you. So how many are you questioning the white lights in the trees?
I like the white
I think it looks great.
Okay.
Do we have questions?
There is a theme behind that, and it's called 3D glasses.
Oh.
There is a Santa face, there is snow angels, there's reindeer.
Cool.
It's all through the,
Who knows?
So when do we get those?
Are we selling those for $100 a pair?
well, we gotta pay, yeah, we gotta raise it. No, the chamber will hand them out, or I'll hand them out on the tree lighting program. So what's gonna happen is the 13th, next Friday, we're gonna turn the lights off on Friday, and then Saturday, they're gonna have the tree lighting ceremony. And at that time, we'll hand out the 3D glasses. So,
Well, maybe we could put that out
That would be a good thing to have in the book.
in the post. Yep. Who's running that? Are you running that?
Chambers.
Chambers?
we can put it on our website.
Yeah, we should put it on our website.
Really good on the site.
Yeah, because I was kind of just all white lights are kind of boring. And well, then 2 days later, they brought all these in. So then
We'll put it out on the Deer Park Connect app.
okay.
Notification up.
Yeah.
So you've been sitting in the parking lot with those on?
No, looking through the window.
Oh.
Looking through the window. So. Okay.
Do we drive with those on?
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Going by.
Close your eyes at the same time.
Yeah, you might be in trouble, Fred. So. Okay. Next up, item 14, adjournment.
No executive?
The departments?
Nope, that's second meeting. Second meeting.
Or the departments?
No, second meeting of the month. Okay. We're adjourned. Thank you.